I thought I would do something cool. I have a list of streets will never forget type of players here, and I'm gonna put them in a tier list. Now, the way I went about this is some of the players were just people I could think of off the top of my head. I went through some lists very quickly to find some ideas, but I didn't want to have too many players. I just wanted to experiment with the format. So we have 12 different former Premier League stars here, and I spent a lot of time trying to come up with like a grading system, what factors I will look at and stuff like that. But I realized it is not gonna work that way, because legacy and what they have won and stats don't really matter in this case. I think when you're judging this type of players, this streets will never forget type of players, because it's more about how memorable they were, how iconic some of the things they did were, to the point that we as fans are not forgetting them anymore. And players who actually had maintained success year over year over year, we just consider former stars and not really the streets will never forget players. So, what I decided in the end is purely just rank them based on how much I liked them, how much I enjoyed them, and how much I remember about them. And that's the reason why I didn't do too much research to remind myself of stats or facts and trivia about them. I'm just gonna go purely based on what I remember about them, how memorable they were in my mind, how iconic, and I think it will be better to do it this way. So as you can guess, this is probably gonna be a very opinion-based video, very subjective. If anybody's gonna watch it, feel free to put your rankings down in the comments. Otherwise, let's just get into it. And we are starting off with very heavy hitters right away. This is, yeah, sorry, the picture is a little cut off. This is Adel Tarabt. We're starting off really good. I absolutely love this guy. He spent a season at Tottenham, I think, and many more at Queen's Park Rangers. When I think of Queen's Park Rangers players, I can remember some, but this is definitely the most memorable one. He was just absolutely magic, and a player is a streets will never forget type of player when established coaches from that era are coming out and saying how talented he was and how great he was. He was absolutely magic, great at dribbling, flashy skill moves, a lot of flair. Maybe he was not the most valuable player. Maybe prestigious teams would not find a place for him in their squad to just let him do whatever he wanted. But whenever he got the chance, he made it count. He made it memorable. Absolutely beautiful player. I had a recent phase now where I've been playing Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, and a lot of the stars are showing up there. Tarabt was absolutely great. Like, even his stats, you just get the ball with him, you can dribble around, and it's really how it was in real life. He could dribble, a lot of skill moves, moments of magic. To me personally, it's absolute S tier. And I'm realizing now I might end up putting a lot of them in S tier, so it's not my fault, I just liked a lot of them. Okay, so next we got Marko Arnautovic. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. But yeah, Arnautovic, also great. He had really nice seasons at Stoke City. What I remember about him is that he was like extremely tall. I think he was over 190 centimeters. Yet he didn't always play it as a center forward. Sometimes he was playing out of on the wing, and you would not expect it from someone who was this tall and this physical. But he was very fast, had a lot of pace to him, could dribble and could whip in absolutely devastating crosses and passes. His left foot was magical. And yeah, I'm struggling now. Is it a streets will never forget type of player? Was it like an established star? Because he had some very consistent seasons, and I think at some point, and maybe even to this day, he's like the top scorer of the Austrian national team. So in some metrics, he was an actual star. Um, But I would still put him in this category, just this unforgettable combination of absolutely tall, physically dominant guy, but he was also fast, from what I remember, and absolutely nice technique. You can just see it in the crosses when the player has a lot of technical capacity. Like when they cross, you just know, okay, he knows what he's doing, and yeah, he was great to watch. But I'm not sure he was an S tier, to be honest. I would very comfortably put him in B tier, but depending on how the rest of this goes, maybe I'm open to bumping him up to A tier. But I liked him a lot. Okay, next we got Rory Delap. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, to be honest. Now I'm trying to remember commentary or commentators, how they used to call him, but I can't remember, to be fair. And I was pretty young when he was a star. I just thought I had to absolutely put him here because to this day I come across posts on Instagram just remembering how absurd it was, the way he would do long throw-ins. I've come across a lot of commentary from like coaches from the time saying how they had to like adapt their set piece defending to account for his throw-ins. So he had this one unique thing about him that was extremely memorable. Now, more than a decade later, people still talk about it. I personally, I don't get it, and maybe it's because I was really young when he was playing, and I just don't have that many memories of him. But it's nice that being elite at one very niche skill can get you such a cult hero status. I didn't really care for him, to be honest. I will put him in D tier, but this is one of those moments where like some people will probably have him comfortably A tier, so feel free to let me know if that's how you would go about this. Okay, next we got Gomis. I believe his first name was Patefimbi Gomis. First thing that comes to mind, and that's why I picked this picture, the celebration. Extremely iconic, like extremely iconic. I still come across that those like edits of Premier League best celebrations. He's always in there. It's nice to see. It's memorable. It makes you smile. Going back to Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, there he plays at Lyon, and I did a save with Lyon, and he's like extremely fast, extremely athletic, very physical. He's like a cheat code there. If you want to play like a scared little boy in defense and you only play for long balls, yeah, he's your guy. He's fast, he's very physical, he has good finishing in that game, and he was like that in real life too, I think. Uh, he had some nice goals at Swansea. I believe he scored against Manchester United once or twice, maybe. Really nice finishes. Of course, the iconic celebration to go with it, but he didn't score much overall at Swansea. Uh, he was extremely good at Lyon, from what I know. So I don't know if that helps his case or not, but really liked him. Uh, Not just the celebration, he was actually elite in some areas of the game, and maybe he wasn't cut out to be a star in the Premier League, but he was definitely a star in French Ligue 1. So I think I'll put him next to Arnautovic in B tier. Okay, next we got Michu. I absolutely love Michu. Uh, said it earlier about Tarat, like I can think of some good players that played at Queen's Park Rangers. I'm really struggling with Swansea except Gomis. Like these are the two guys I can remember from Swansea in that era. And yeah, it's really difficult to play for that team and be one of those guys who will pull in a neutral fan to watch the game just to see you play. Michu was that for me with Swansea. He had some nice goals. He could score in many different ways. He could score headers. He had good positioning and would show up for nice tap-ins. I think he scored a few from long range as well. What I remember absolutely about him is whenever he would go one-on-one, he would always go for top pins. Like always. Or maybe not always, but I can I'm imagining right now a few goals of his that he scored like one-on-one, absolutely top pins. And I absolutely respect that. I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, the problem with him is he was a one season wonder. He played that one season where he had like 27, 28 goals in all competitions, which on Swansea is amazing. Yeah, just an amazingly entertaining player to watch. Definitely people remember him and still talk about him. I'll be putting him in A tier. Okay, next we got Alvaro Negredo, I believe, nicknamed the Beast. This is a absolutely great one. 'Cause I remember it. I remember he went absolutely crazy for half a season. I think he had like 20 something goals in all competitions, like low 20s, which in half a season is absolutely amazing. Like, compared to now, there are players who have like 20 something goals in the whole season in all competitions, uh, and they are considered for Ballon d'Or or something, or team of the season. This guy had 20 something goals by Christmas, and then the whole second half of that season, he just did not score. He didn't do shit. Maybe he had one or two league goals, but yeah, it's just like he disappeared out of nowhere, went back to Spain. Yeah, kind of people forgot about him afterwards. Because let's be honest here, there are of course many good teams in the Spanish league, but for most of them, like, even if you play well there, you might get kind of lost and people will slowly stop caring about you. I hope I'm not insulting anyone by saying this. But yeah, that, like, it's fun because in Michu's case I was saying that one season. In this guy's case I'm saying that half season. It was insane. I remember thinking like, oh yeah, this guy, like he's gonna be the next big star on Man City, you know. And then nah, he wasn't. But he was good. He was very technical, good finishing, crazy hot for half a season. I think I'll put him in B tier. Okay, next up we got Dimitri Payet. Special place in my heart. The first video on this channel I made about him. Love this guy. Absolute magician. I don't want to talk about him too much because I have a video out on him, the last video. But yeah, absolutely good in the center of the field, creative as it gets, flair, dribbling, Rabona assists, beautiful free kicks with a nice conversion rate. Like he wasn't just spamming them; he was actually good at taking them. Great player. Oh my goodness, I absolutely like him. To me, if you ask me who's your favorite Streets will never forget type of player, it's gotta be Dimitri Payet, which would not make sense if you knew which team I support in real life. But well, yeah, I just still liked him that much. I'm putting him in S tier. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk much about him, but yeah, you can check out the other video. Okay, next we got Graziano Pelle, and this guy I absolutely loved. Mm, he could score in many different ways. He was like, the way I would describe him is poor man's Olivier Giroud. Tall, physically strong center or center forward who looks like he would be good just at the headers, but somehow he finds ways to score in any way. And sometimes you look at his goals and they look kind of awkward, but he kept finding new ways to score still, even if sometimes they looked a little awkward. But yeah, he could head the ball very well. He has a few goals from distance. He had that one overhead kick goal against, I believe, Queens Park Rangers. Beautiful goal. And yeah, he's just one of those players, like a poor man's Olivier Giroud. Like, you don't know how exactly, but he finds ways to score in every way possible. To me personally, he's A tier. I just like this guy so much. And yeah, that spell at Southampton was great. He played good for the national team, Italy as well. Then he just took the bag and disappeared to China, which was the original Saudi. If you know, you know. Yeah, moving on, we got Wilfried Zaha. I wasn't sure about putting him on here because he doesn't feel like a Streets will never forget player. He feels like a established former star. basically, even if he didn't win anything with Crystal Palace, which is the only reason I think it's valid to put him here. Like, he just never really won much, or was on winning teams, or never got the big move. So maybe he could have been forgotten if not for the streets. Pacey, skillful dribbler, fullbacks were genuinely terrified of playing him, and he dragged the Crystal Palace team, which back then wasn't doing so well, to like survival seasons and mid-table finishes. Impressive, absolutely iconic. Love this guy. I'm putting him in A tier. Yeah, it's kind of top leaning right now. As you can see, I like a lot of them. But now we're gonna drop off a little. So Troy Deeney. Deeney, we all know that goal against Leicester City. The problem for me is like besides that, I'm not remembering much about him. Like he came to Premier League and he was a serviceable squad player, nothing special. There wasn't much about his game that stood out to me. There wasn't a spell where he was just really good and just couldn't maintain the consistency. It's that one goal for me when it comes to Troy Deeney. So unfortunately, I'm gonna put him in C tier, I think. Then we got Roberto Soldado. I love this guy. I had a football card of him in Valencia, and when I randomly picked it out, I started like watching his highlights and a few Valencia matches as well. He was a great striker at Valencia. He was very technical. He was a good finisher. Um, he could come down a little to the midfield and like play passes as well, like enter the open play, help the team develop going forward. I appreciate strikers like that. He was a good finisher for sure, and yeah, as is often the case with Spanish strikers, he had good technical ability. He went to Tottenham for back then that was the record fee. It was somewhere around 30 million pounds, I think, and they had high hopes for him. It's the season after they sold Gareth Bale, so he was gonna be like part of the new attack along with Eric Lamela and Nasser Chadli and those players. It was a weird time. However, he never got going at Tottenham. I think he had like less than 10 goals total, maybe like 8, and a lot of them, a significant part, were just penalties. He just never got it going at Premier League. He never went on to do much. He just returned back to Spain very soon after going to Tottenham. Yeah, it just didn't play out for him. But he was looking very promising, in my opinion at least. However, yeah, nothing memorable about him in the Premier League. Just this myth of this like technical striker coming from Spain, where he had a good career, but yeah, not much there. Um, I'm comfortable putting him in D tier, to be honest. Anyway, last one on the list, last but not least, Hatem Ben Arfa. Crazy player, crazy good in PES 2013 as well. Skillful dribbler. He had 2 different goals when he got the ball in his own half, dribbled through the whole team, and then ended up scoring. Now, just those 2 goals, if those 2 goals were the only thing he did, from a memorable type of moments, that would be enough for me to put him on this list. It was just absolutely iconic goals. Love the guy. He never got it really going. He had some injury problems. He had some issues throughout his career. Some, I believe, ego problems as well. He spent his Premier League career at like mid-table Newcastle, and he definitely was the highlight of their team. I believe he's like the Dimitri Payet of their team, in a way, or their Wilfried Zaha, just a creative, skillful player. You just give the ball to them, and they just get creative. You gotta give them creative freedom as well. And in his case, the outcome, not every day, week in and week out, but once a season, he would give you goal of the season contender, scoring beautiful goal, not beautiful in terms of from very far apart, but he would get the ball one side, dribble through 4 or 5 players, like the whole team, and then score. And that's just magic. And absolutely memorable. It's been what, more than a decade, I think, at this point. I can still clearly imagine both of those goals, like remember them in details. And that is something that makes a player non-forgettable. Like that's something in 20 years I'll be having beers with my friends just remembering all the Premier League stuff. I'm gonna bring up his goals. Yeah, that's an actual thing I do with my friends sometimes, by the way. Yeah, we just sit around drinking and like remembering cool moments from football. Anyway, Hatem Ben Arfa, I'm gonna put him 8 here. Yeah, it's definitely very top leaning. I don't know if I would change anything. I think I could put Wilfred Zaha in S tier, but I'm struggling because I don't know if he belongs on this list or not, but you guys can let me know. But yeah, that will conclude the list. I'm thinking of doing a save in Pro Evolution Soccer where the whole squad is Streets Will Never Forget type players. If this video gets five likes, I'll start it. But yeah, anyway, if somebody